Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you this. How often do you find yourself saying yes when you should be saying no? How often do you let the expectations of others steal your time, energy, and peace of mind? Today, we're going to talk about one of the most powerful yet often overlooked tools in life, the power of saying no. It's not about rejecting people or being selfish. It's about preserving your well-being, protecting your peace, and taking control of your life. When you master the art of saying no, you create space for everything that truly matters to you. The first thing you need to understand is that saying no is not about rejecting others or being selfish. It's about affirming one of the most powerful freedoms you have, the freedom to choose. Life is nothing but a series of choices. Every moment you are making decisions that either move you closer to your goals or pull you further away from them. When you say yes to everything that comes your way, you are in essence saying no to everything that truly matters to you. You are saying no to the time, energy, and focus you need to invest in your health, your relationships, your passions, and your dreams. It's crucial to realize that every time you allow yourself to be drained by the demands of others, you are sacrificing precious moments of your life that could have been used to fuel your own growth, purpose, and joy. When you learn the power of saying no, you take back control over your life. You stop being at the mercy of every external demand, every interruption, and every distraction that pulls you away from what truly matters. Saying no is not just an act of setting limits, it's an act of setting priorities. It is a statement that you value your time, your health, and your goals more than the constant demands that come at you from all directions. It's a way of declaring that you are no longer willing to let life dictate how you should spend your most valuable resource. You are in control. Your time is the one thing you can never get back. Every second you spend saying yes to things that drain you is a second you'll never get back. Imagine the possibilities if you could redirect all the energy, focus, and time you spend on obligations that don't serve you into things that truly elevate your life. Saying no gives you the ability to carve out that space for what's important. It opens up opportunities for growth, for rest, for the people and projects that light you up, and for the things that will truly make a difference in your life. We are all busy. We all have endless to-do lists, and it's easy to get caught up in the pressure to meet every expectation placed on us. But when we do this, we lose sight of what really matters. We lose sight of our health, our happiness, and our ability to create the life we want. The real secret to success and fulfillment is not doing more. It's doing more of what matters and less of what doesn't. And that starts with saying no. Saying no is not about being unkind or uncaring. It's about being wise. It's about understanding that you can't pour from an empty cup. You cannot give your best to others if you are constantly giving away your time and energy to things that drain you. You must protect your energy fiercely because it is the fuel that drives everything you do. So, take control. Say no when necessary, and create space for what will truly make your life better. Because in the end, you are the only one who can decide how your time is spent. And you owe it to yourself to make those choices count. There is a profound truth that lies at the heart of every successful life. Clarity is power. Without clarity, you're like a ship sailing aimlessly across the ocean, tossed by every wave, led by every breeze with no destination in mind. When you learn to say no, you do more than protect your time and energy. You protect your focus, your vision, and your future. Every time you decline something that doesn't serve your greater purpose, you're not just turning down an offer. You're actively carving out space for what truly matters. It's in these moments of rejection that you refine your focus and bring yourself one step closer to your true goals. Life is full of distractions. Every day we are bombarded by demands, obligations, and commitments that pull us in different directions. These distractions may seem innocent at first, but over time they rob us of our most valuable resource, our attention. And without our attention, our purpose becomes clouded, our direction becomes blurry, and the things that matter most to us begin to slip through our fingers. When you're constantly chasing after every new opportunity, trying to meet every expectation, you lose sight of what's truly important. And that's where saying no becomes a powerful tool. By saying no, you eliminate the noise. You stop spreading yourself too thin. You protect your focus and free up the mental and emotional space to zero in on what's essential. It's like cleaning out a cluttered room. You're making room for the things that matter. When your life is not cluttered with distractions, your purpose becomes clearer. You can see the path in front of you more clearly. You know where you need to go and how to get there. Each time you say no, you reaffirm your commitment to your vision, to your goals, to the bigger picture of what you want to create in this life. We often think of success as a result of working harder, doing more, and saying yes to every opportunity that comes our way. But the truth is, success is not about doing more. It's about doing more of what matters. The more you align your actions with your purpose, the clearer your path becomes. The more you protect your focus, the more defined your direction becomes. And in those moments when you say no, you're not just rejecting something in the present moment. You're saying yes to the future you want to create. You're choosing the life you want to live. You're choosing to be deliberate with your time, your energy, and your resources. The key to living a fulfilled life is not just in working hard, but in working on the right things. And that requires clarity. It requires a commitment to your purpose, a willingness to say no to anything that doesn't align with that purpose, and a relentless focus on what's essential. You must learn to trust yourself, to trust your vision, and to trust that by saying no, you are creating space for everything that matters. In doing so, you step into a life that is defined by intention, clarity, and a powerful sense of direction. When you learn to say no, you're not simply turning away from an external demand. You're choosing to say yes to yourself. You're choosing your own well-being, your peace of mind, your health, and your happiness. You're saying yes to your dreams, your aspirations, and your personal growth. Too often we find ourselves saying yes to the requests and expectations of others, driven by a fear of disappointing them, a fear of letting them down. But we must ask ourselves, at what cost? When you keep saying yes to everyone else, you're inevitably saying no to your own needs, your own desires, and the future you're working towards. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that we must always put others first. We fear that if we say no, we'll appear selfish, unkind, or ungrateful. But the reality is, when you continuously put others' needs before your own, you end up empty. You're running on empty, you're giving without replenishing, and you begin to lose the very energy and passion that makes you who you are. You can't pour from an empty cup, and if you don't take care of yourself, there will be nothing left to give to others. Saying no is an act of self-care, an act of self-respect. It's a way of saying, I matter too. You deserve time to recharge, to refocus, and to invest in your own growth. When you say no to things that drain you, whether it's toxic relationships, exhausting commitments, or unnecessary distractions, you create space. Space for what? Space for the things that uplift you. Space for activities and people that align with your values, that bring you joy and fulfillment. You begin to say yes to things that nurture your soul, that help you grow, and that help you move closer to the person you are meant to become. Whether it's pursuing a passion, taking time for rest, or spending time with people who truly support and encourage you, every no you say opens the door to a more meaningful yes. It's time to stop neglecting yourself. It's time to stop allowing the demands of others to rob you of your energy, your time, and your peace. Your relationship with yourself is the foundation of everything else in your life. If you are not in a healthy, loving relationship with yourself, nothing else will truly flourish. The most important relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. And that relationship deserves to be nurtured. It deserves your attention. It deserves your respect. When you choose to say yes to yourself, you choose to prioritize your health, your goals, and your happiness. You choose to honor your needs and your boundaries. And by doing that, you become stronger, more capable, and more resilient. You begin to show up as your best self, not only for yourself, but for everyone around you. So start today. Say no when it's necessary, and say yes to the life you deserve. When you start choosing yourself, you begin to create a life that's filled with purpose, peace, and the kind of success that's truly meaningful. Your emotional energy is one of the most valuable resources you have. It's the driving force behind your actions, your motivation, and your overall well-being. But just like any resource, it can be depleted if you're not careful about how you use it. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your true desires or your values, you're essentially giving away a piece of your emotional energy. It's like spending precious currency on something that doesn't bring you any return. You don't get fulfillment from it, you don't get joy from it, and you certainly don't get peace. Instead, you're left feeling drained, exhausted, and emotionally bankrupt. Imagine for a moment that your emotional energy is like money in the bank. Every decision you make is like making a withdrawal. The more you say yes to obligations and demands that don't serve you, the more you spend that energy on things that don't enrich your life. You're left with an empty account, emotionally depleted, mentally exhausted, and physically worn out. And just like a bank account, once you hit zero, you can't keep going without consequences. You can't continue to give when you have nothing left to give. This is the point at which burnout occurs. It's the point at which you feel like you've given everything you have, and there's nothing left for yourself or for the things that truly matter. But here's the truth. You have the power to guard your emotional energy. You have the power to say no to things and people that drain you. Every time you say no, you are making a conscious decision to protect that precious resource. You are choosing to preserve your energy for what really matters, things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and peace. You are choosing to invest your emotional currency in relationships, experiences, and goals that uplift you, that push you forward, and that nourish your soul. It's important to realize that saying no is not about rejecting others. It's about protecting yourself. It's about recognizing that your emotional well-being is paramount to your success and happiness. When you say no to things that are not aligned with your values, you are saying yes to the things that fuel you, things that give you the strength to keep going, things that inspire you to reach for your highest potential. This is how you build emotional resilience. You don't allow your energy to be drained by obligations that don't serve you, but instead, you invest that energy in things that propel you toward your vision. Guarding your emotional energy is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. It allows you to show up as your best self, to be present for the people who truly matter, and to pursue the goals that will bring you fulfillment. It's not selfish to protect your energy, it's necessary. If you don't take care of yourself emotionally, physically, and mentally, you won't be able to give your best to the people and pursuits that matter most. So make a commitment today to protect your emotional energy. Guard it fiercely because it's the foundation for everything else in your life. When you protect it, you empower yourself to live a life that's truly aligned with who you are and what you want to become. You are not a machine. You're not an endless source of energy, constantly available, always at full capacity. You are a human being with limits, needs, and vulnerabilities. Yet too often we operate as if we have an infinite supply of energy to give, pushing ourselves beyond what's healthy in an attempt to meet every demand, fulfill every obligation, and live up to every expectation. But this approach comes at a cost we don't always realize until it's too late. That cost is burnout. Burnout isn't just about feeling tired. It's a deep emotional and physical exhaustion that can undermine your ability to function at your best. It's the result of overextending yourself time and time again without taking the necessary steps to protect your energy and well-being. It happens when you say yes to too many things, to the point where your time and energy are completely drained. You start to feel empty, overwhelmed, and unable to give anymore. That's when burnout hits, and it can feel like a wrecking ball, taking down everything you've worked so hard for. The key to avoiding burnout is to recognize that your energy is a precious resource. Just like you wouldn't keep pouring water from an empty pitcher, you cannot keep giving from an empty well. When you don't make time to replenish yourself, to rest, to recharge, you become depleted. And when you're depleted, you're not able to perform at your best. You're not able to be present for the things that matter. You're not able to pursue your goals with the energy and passion they deserve. This is where the power of saying no comes in. Saying no is not a weakness. It's a form of self-respect. It's a protective measure that allows you to honor your limits. When you say no to certain demands, you're not rejecting others. You're choosing to respect your own well-being. You're taking control of your energy and making sure you don't waste it on things that won't contribute to your growth, your happiness, or your success. Saying no is a powerful act of self-care, a declaration that you value your own health and happiness. You have limits, we all do. And it's important to recognize them before they force you to stop. When you're constantly overextending yourself, you're telling yourself that you don't matter, that your needs aren't as important as everyone else's. But that's simply not true. You matter. Your health matters. Your peace of mind matters. And if you want to continue giving your best to the world, you need to take care of yourself first. When you take time to rest, to recharge, and to nourish your body and mind, you come back stronger. You're able to give more to others, to perform at a higher level, and to pursue your goals with renewed focus and energy. So protect your energy like the valuable resource it is. Don't wait until you've hit rock bottom before you start taking care of yourself. Saying no is a tool that helps you preserve your vitality so you can keep showing up as your best self day after day. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. And it's the key to living a life that's not just sustainable, but fulfilling. Take care of yourself and the world will thank you for it. You've likely heard the phrase, good fences make good neighbors, but the real truth is that good boundaries make good lives. The strength of your life, your peace, and your happiness depends on the boundaries you set and the clarity with which you enforce them. Without boundaries, you're opening the door to be drained by the demands of others, to be swept away by obligations that don't align with your values, and to lose sight of your own goals. Boundaries aren't just important. They are essential to creating the life you deserve. When you don't set boundaries, you're essentially telling the world that you're available for whatever anyone wants, no matter the cost. But here's the reality. Your time is precious, your energy is finite, and your peace of mind is invaluable. If you don't protect these things, no one else will. Setting boundaries isn't about being rigid or distant. It's about protecting your peace and giving yourself the space to pursue what truly matters. Confidence is sometimes needed in the face of pursuit. Saying no is one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal for setting those boundaries. When you say no, you're telling the world that your time, energy, and focus are not up for grabs. You're teaching people how to treat you. You're setting the standard for what is acceptable and what is not. Without this kind of clarity, others will unconsciously or consciously take advantage of your willingness to say yes. They will drain you of your resources, your time, your energy, your goodwill, and leave you feeling exhausted, resentful, and overwhelmed. But when you establish boundaries and say no with intention, you shift the dynamic. You teach others to respect your needs, your space, and your time. And in doing so, you give yourself the gift of peace. The beauty of boundaries is that they don't have to be walls. They don't have to separate you from the people or experiences that matter to you. Instead, they are protective shields designed to help you engage in relationships and experiences in a healthy way. A shield allows you to be present, to give your best without giving everything. Boundaries let you engage with others without losing yourself in the process. They allow you to contribute without feeling depleted. They give you the strength to say yes to what truly aligns with your values and goals, and no to the things that don't. In every relationship, in every interaction, you have the power to set the terms. You don't have to be at the mercy of others' demands or expectations. You can choose to protect your peace and your well-being. Setting clear boundaries might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to saying yes out of obligation or fear. But the truth is that saying no is an act of love, not just for yourself, but for the people around you. When you protect your peace, you show up as your best self, with more energy, more focus, and more love to give. Don't let anyone steal your peace or compromise your values. Establish your boundaries with clarity, enforce them with confidence, and watch how your life transforms. The strength you gain from saying no will give you the power to create a life that's truly yours, one that's filled with purpose, clarity, and peace. There are countless demands on your time every day. Your phone rings, your inbox fills up, people ask for your attention, and the world constantly throws its urgent calls at you. But in the midst of all the noise, the real question is what truly matters? How do you discern the things that deserve your time and energy from the things that only distract or drain you? The answer is simple yet powerful. You have to be willing to say no. Saying no isn't about being negative or rejecting opportunities. It's about making a commitment to your life's vision. Every time you say no to something, you create space to say yes to what aligns with your deepest values, your most important goals, and your truest purpose. But here's the challenge. In a world full of distractions and demands, it's easy to lose sight of what's truly important. We get caught up in the whirlwind of urgent tasks, not realizing that the urgent isn't always the important. We can easily say yes out of habit, out of fear of disappointing others, or simply because we feel guilty. But that's how we lose control over our time and our life. The real power comes in pausing, in taking a step back and asking yourself the most important question. Is this in alignment with my values and my vision? When you start asking yourself this, you begin to take back control. You stop letting external forces dictate how you spend your precious time. Instead, you take ownership of your decisions. And that's where true freedom begins. It's about being intentional. Every time you say no, you're actively choosing what matters most. You're no longer letting life happen to you. You're taking charge of your destiny. Saying no gives you permission to reflect on your goals, your relationships, your health, and your growth. It forces you to prioritize, to make decisions based on what serves your highest good, rather than getting caught up in what's immediate or convenient. Think about it. How many times have you said yes to something that left you feeling drained, unfulfilled, or resentful? How often have you agreed to take on tasks or commitments that ultimately didn't help you move closer to your goals? Every time you say yes to the wrong things, you are essentially saying no to the right things. You're giving away the most valuable resource you have, your time, on things that don't matter in the grand scheme of your life. By learning to say no, you're learning to honor your priorities. You're creating the space you need to focus on what truly matters. Saying no isn't just about turning down tasks. It's about protecting your energy and directing it toward the things that will help you grow, succeed, and ultimately live the life you desire. It's a powerful act of self-respect. The more you practice it, the more you'll find that your life becomes clearer, your purpose sharper, and your progress inevitable. So ask yourself, what is worth my time? What is worth my energy? What is in alignment with who I am and where I'm going? When you start saying no to the distractions, the obligations, and the things that don't serve your true vision, you make room for the things that will take you further, faster, and higher than you ever thought possible. And that's when life starts to fall into place. One of the most challenging obstacles to saying no is the fear of disappointing others. We all have an innate desire to be liked, to be needed, and to be seen as reliable and helpful. It's in our nature to want to avoid conflict, to keep the peace, and to do what others expect of us. But here's the harsh truth. You cannot please everyone, and you cannot be everything to everyone. When you accept this truth, something remarkable happens. You begin to free yourself from the weight of unnecessary obligations. The sooner you realize that trying to meet everyone's expectations is an impossible task, the sooner you'll feel the burden of that pressure lift off your shoulders. The fear of disappointing others often holds us hostage. We overcommit ourselves, stretch ourselves thin, and say yes when every fiber of our being is screaming no. And for what? To avoid discomfort? To sidestep a fleeting moment of disappointment from someone else? The reality is, their disappointment isn't your responsibility. You cannot control how others feel, and you shouldn't try. It's their feelings, not yours. And while it's natural to care about the people around us, we must understand that we are not responsible for their emotional reactions to our choices. Imagine the weight that would be lifted off your shoulders if you allowed yourself to let go of the constant fear of disappointing others. Picture yourself no longer saying yes to every request or obligation simply to avoid the discomfort of saying no. Instead, you say no when it aligns with your values, your priorities, and your well-being. You begin to protect your peace, your time, and your energy. You make space to live authentically, without the fear of constantly bending yourself to fit other people's expectations. Saying no is not an act of selfishness. It's an act of self-respect. It's a declaration that your peace, your time, and your well-being matter just as much as anyone else's. By saying no, you are giving yourself permission to live on your own terms, to choose what serves your purpose, and to honor your own needs. When you say no, you open up the possibility of living a life that is genuine, true to yourself, and aligned with your own values. Think about how many times you've said yes out of fear, only to feel resentment or frustration later. The truth is, when you overextend yourself, you do a disservice to both yourself and the people around you. You cannot give your best to others when you are operating from a place of depletion or discomfort. Saying no doesn't just protect your peace, it allows you to show up as your best self, with the energy, the clarity, and the focus needed to pursue your true goals. So, the next time you are faced with a decision, remember that saying no is not a rejection of the person or the request. It's a commitment to your own authenticity. It's a reminder that your peace is non-negotiable and you deserve to live a life that is true to who you are. The fear of disappointing others will always be there, but you can choose to rise above it. When you protect your peace, you are free to be the person you were meant to be, without the chains of unnecessary guilt or fear. And that, my friends, is a life worth living. Saying no is often viewed as a negative action, but in reality, it's one of the most powerful ways to strengthen the relationships that truly matter in your life. The idea that saying no will push people away or make them feel rejected is a common misconception. In fact, when you say yes to everything, you're doing the opposite of showing up for the people who deserve your attention and care. You become spread so thin that you're no longer able to give the quality attention and presence that deep relationships require. It's in this scattered state that we end up giving less of ourselves to everyone, and as a result, we show up as a lesser version of ourselves for those we love. Think about it. When you're constantly saying yes to things that drain you or aren't aligned with your values, you're not leaving enough energy to invest in the relationships that truly matter. You're wearing yourself out with obligations that aren't even part of your bigger vision, and you're missing the chance to cultivate deep, meaningful connections. The truth is, relationships need time, energy, and care to flourish. If you're too busy saying yes to superficial requests, then you're unintentionally neglecting the people who can add the most value to your life. Saying no actually allows you to prioritize your relationships. It clears the space you need to invest in the people who bring out the best in you. When you say no to things that aren't aligned with your purpose, you're saying yes to the people who elevate your life. These are the people who support you, challenge you, and inspire you to be the best version of yourself. The more time and energy you invest in these relationships, the more you deepen the bond you share with them. Real connection doesn't happen in the busyness of life. It happens in the moments when you are fully present and invested in the people who matter. When you learn to say no, you create more of those moments. You free up time to spend with your family, friends, or colleagues. People who are there for you and whose presence adds real value to your life. Those are the relationships that will help you grow, succeed, and thrive. These are the connections that will stand the test of time because they are built on mutual respect, care, and a commitment to each other's well-being. By saying no to everything that doesn't serve your purpose, you give yourself permission to say yes to the relationships that truly deserve your energy. And that's where the magic happens. The more you nurture these connections, the stronger they become, and the more fulfilling your life becomes as a result. True relationships are not about quantity, they are about quality. It's not about having 1,000 acquaintances, but having a few deep connections that make life richer and more meaningful. In the end, saying no is not a rejection of the world. It's a declaration that you are committed to the people who matter most. It's a choice to invest in relationships that make a real impact on your life. And when you do that, you'll find that the more you say no to distractions, the more you say yes to a life full of deep, fulfilling connections. This is where true happiness and success are found, not in being busy, but in being present for the people who matter most. In life, there is one thing that is often overlooked, but is in reality the most precious resource you possess: your peace. It is not a luxury, not a mere afterthought. Your peace is the very foundation upon which everything else in your life is built. Without peace, no amount of success, wealth, or recognition can truly fulfill you. Peace is the quiet strength that sustains you, the calm that enables you to think clearly, to make wise decisions, and to approach life's challenges with a sense of balance and purpose. It is the center from which all good things flow, and if you lose it, nothing else truly matters. Saying no is not just about creating physical space, it's about protecting this most vital part of yourself. It is a deliberate choice to safeguard your peace from the distractions, demands, and chaos that the world constantly throws your way. Every time you say yes to something that isn't aligned with your true needs, you are sacrificing a little piece of your peace. But when you say no, you reclaim that peace. You create space in your life for tranquility, for stillness, and for the mental and emotional clarity that will allow you to make the best decisions for yourself and your future. It's easy to get caught up in the noise of the world, the endless demands, the expectations of others, and the pull of obligations that have no real meaning for you. We often feel the pressure to please, to fit in, to take on everything that comes our way. But every time we say yes, without considering its impact on our peace, we allow our energy and focus to be hijacked by things that don't matter. Saying no is a form of self-preservation. It's a conscious decision to put yourself first, to guard the inner sanctuary of your mind and soul. When you do this, you create the space needed to focus on what truly matters, the things that align with your values and vision. When you protect your peace, you begin to see the world differently. Peace provides you with the energy and focus necessary to move forward with purpose. It allows you to approach each day with a sense of calm certainty, knowing that you are in control of what you choose to take on and what you choose to leave behind. So protect your peace as if your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. When you fiercely guard your peace, you unlock the power to live with intention, to act with clarity, and to create the life you deserve. You'll find that when your peace is intact, everything else begins to fall into place. The right people, opportunities, and experiences will gravitate toward you because you are operating from a place of calm assurance and inner strength. In the end, it's not about doing more. It's about doing less and doing it with peace. And in that peace, you will find all the richness and fulfillment you've been seeking. The power of saying no is transformative. It's the key to protecting your peace, prioritizing what matters, and taking control of your life. Every time you say no, you're affirming that you respect your time, your energy, and your well-being. And with that, you create the foundation for a life of purpose, clarity, and peace. So the next time you're faced with a decision, remember this. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply say no. Thank you.